how are you?
Hi, I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So I'm excited to discuss Alex's comprehension test of achievement that we took on March 2018. We took reading on Monday, math on Tuesday, social studies on Wednesday, and science on Thursday. Do you remember that?
I do. Yeah, I remember that.
Okay, so before we start, I just want to explain what the test is. It's an achievement test and it is an IQ test. It only tests and measures what Alex has done up to this point in all content areas.
Oh, okay. So this test kind of explains how she's doing in class.
Not exactly. It's important to remember it's only a snapshot of how she's doing and doesn't fully represent how she's doing in class.
Oh, okay. So can you explain to me how these test scores should be read?
Yes. So it's broken into two sections. This is the norm reference group and this is the criterion referenced. However, in each part, there are smaller subtests that are content-based and broken down.
Oh, okay. So I get this subtest, but what is the vocabulary and word analysis section?
So these are skills within the subtest that are tested.
Oh, okay. So down here I see the basic battery and complete battery. Is that a skill too?
No, actually, basic battery is the skill within the subtest. So it would be math concepts and problem solving. The complete battery is the total, such as total reading and total mathematics.
Oh, okay. And I noticed you said the top is different from the bottom. Why is that?
Okay, so this top part is called the norm reference, and it scores compared to the national norm group. The bottom is the criterion reference scores, which I'll explain later. We should focus on the norm group scores right now.
Oh, okay. And what's a norm group?
For this test, a norm group is a set of 1,000 students who were the same age across the nation who took the test before it was released. It gives us information on how the students scored compared with our students, and they were the same age and the same grade when they took the test.
Oh, okay.
So, for instance, let's take a look at the raw scores. This shows us how many items Alex answered correctly out of the number of items on the test.
Oh. So I just want to make sure I'm understanding correctly. So she got 83 out of 108 correct. What about this column that says 53%? Does that mean that she failed?
This column actually represents the percentiles that Alex scored in, and it means that Alex scored 53% better than the norm group.
Oh, okay.
And so if you look right here, this shows the range where most students scored in the norm reference group. So Alex scored in the 53rd percentile. Alex's score is in the 53rd percentile, which is actually slightly above the median, which is 50.
Oh, thank goodness. I thought she had failed.
No. Now I want to show you the percentile bands. This represents that every test isn't perfect, and there are a lot of factors, such as if the child didn't get enough sleep or if they had a bad day, and it's referred to as a standard measurement of error.
Okay.
So if you look right there, the circle with a line going through it, it represents the 53rd percentile. This line means that if she were to take the test again, the testing company is confident that she would score between the 53rd and 56th percentile.
Oh, okay. And what about this section right here? It's called the scaled scores.
So scaled scores is actually the raw score plugged into a formula to figure out the standard score. It's almost like a measurement, such as inches, feet, or yards. This allows us to average the percentiles in an easier manner.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that is really confusing if you just look at it without any background information.
Yeah, it really can be. But if we look at the bell curve, the scaled scores are listed as CTA scores, and they range from 200 to 800. So if we look at the total reading scaled scored, it would average at 508. So it would be right about here, which is slightly above the norm group's performance.
Oh, okay. And I remember you mentioning something about criterion at the bottom part. What does all that mean?
Okay, so down here, the criterion referenced information. It shows how the student and an individual is doing in each content area. Do you want to look at it, and then you can ask me any questions if you have any?
Oh, yeah. So is this broken up like the norm reference section?
No, this is actually divided into areas of skill according to the subtest. So if you look at the RS, it represents the raw score, and it is in the number of questions she got correct out of the number possible, which is represented by the NP.
Oh, okay. And I see there's an X under the low section for phonetic analysis. What is that?
That means Alex may have had difficulties sounding out or blending words that aren't familiar to her.
Oh, so that means that she doesn't know it.
No, not necessarily. She actually got over half of them correct. However, some things to practice to help her improve could be reading unfamiliar text or to go over some vocabulary words.
Oh, okay.
So I just wanted to point out that one of Alex's high scores, as you can see here, she did very well in capitalization. She got 11 out of 12 correct. So that's why she scored in the high section for that skill.
Oh, that's good. We really try to remind her how to start and end her sentences.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, keep her practicing. So now there's one score that I don't really agree with because I work with her in class, and right here it says that she scored low for skill measurement. However, it weighs heavily if she misses a few because there weren't that many questions. And so if you look right here, right at her portfolio, Alex actually did very well with her measurement comparison in class. And that's why I want to remind you this is only a snapshot of how Alex is doing and not really an accurate representation.
Oh, okay. It makes me feel so much better knowing about the scores when looking at them. Thank you so much for taking the time to explain this to me.
Of course. So here's a handout, and it's just a copy of everything that we discussed today. And do you have any more questions for me?
No, I think that's all.
Awesome. So please contact me or email me if you have any questions. My email and phone number is on the handout, and it's also on the weekly newsletters or the school website.
Oh, good.
Thank you.